Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adult. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, November the 23rd. This is Thanksgiving week. We're glad to have you with us today, and I've got a very special guest. You may know him as the former representative of the 47th District of Missouri, John Wright. Welcome to Radio Friends, John.
Paul, thank you. It's good to be with you. I grew up here in Columbia.
Yeah.
And you were a fixture on Mid-Missouri television when I was a kid. And
thank you for making me feel very old.
Following your show for a long time.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you've done for our community over a very long period of time.
Did you ever sing or appear on Pepper and Friends?
I didn't, but my sister did when she was over at Rockbridge.
Yeah.
She was in a school play.
Yeah.
And I had a group that came over.
We used to always like to say when that show was on the air that at one time or another, everybody that was in central Missouri had appeared on the show or knew somebody that appeared on the show.
I think that might be right. That might be right.
But now, you were our representative, 47th District. You are now teaching at the Honors College University, and in the spring, you're going to be teaching at the law school.
That's right. Yeah.
So you're keeping yourself very busy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's a joy. I mean, I love teaching. I love the University of Missouri. As I said, I grew up here in Columbia, bleed black and gold, and it's a great honor to have a chance to teach this spring, in particular at the law school where my grandparents met and graduated class in 1944.
Oh, okay. So a lot of history there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk just a little bit about, now you were on the inside of Missouri politics. Why are we so polarized, both parties, and not just Missouri, but the whole country? Why have we gone that route?
Yeah, well, I think it's a very important topic. I think it's something that a lot of us feel. And I think an important thing for us to start to talk about is, as the great political theorist, the rapper Ice-T said, don't hate the players, hate the game. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we all want to throw our soda can at the TV set and we see people shouting at each other. But the reality is that we have a system that helps to promote polarization. And the number one contributor to that is the way that our legislative districts are drawn.
We're talking about gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering and demographic trends play a role in it, but the salient point is this. Missouri is close to a 50-50 state in terms of overall partisanship. And yet 6 out of every 7 of our House districts has been drawn to be absolutely safe for one party or for the other. So what does that mean? That means when I would look across the House chamber, I saw a body in which almost none of our elected representatives think about November elections. And the same is true in U.S. Congress. Our politicians don't think about November elections because their jobs aren't at stake in November elections. Their jobs are at stake in August primaries. What does that mean? That means if you are a Democrat in a safe Democratic district, and your job security depends on getting through a primary in which your opponent is another Democrat, do you get points with your primary electorate by talking about the great compromises you made across the aisle working together with Republicans to push things forward? No, you get points with your base by shouting about how you're going to take it to those SOBs when you get back to the state capitol or to the nation's capital. Same's true on the Republican side. And so if I could change one thing about our political system, I would take the human element out of the way that we draw our political districts, and I would go to a nonpartisan method of drawing districts, because you can just tell when you talk to individual legislators, you can tell within 5 minutes whether you're talking to someone who's from a safe district or someone who actually has to compete in a November election.
That's why we see such drastic conversation during all of the primaries. Everybody has gone so far to the right or so far to the left because they have to appease the base.
That's right. And it just turns out, and it stands to reason, that folks who vote in primaries tend to be more partisan than folks who vote in general elections, just like the biggest sports fans are the ones who go to the games, who take the time to go instead of just hearing about the game score after the fact on SportsCenter. And so that median voter in many districts in either Republican primary or Democratic primary has views that are very different from the median citizen in the state of Missouri or the median citizen in the United States. And so we have a system that fosters, that promotes and encourages legislators who can win points by shouting about what bozos the other side is, as opposed to get credit for working with the other side to solve problems and seize opportunities.
So how can we change it? How can we change the way the districts are drawn up?
Well, public awareness is very important on this. So districts are drawn the way they are drawn in part out of a system of incumbent protection. Okay, so individual legislators, by and large, have very little incentive to change the way that districts are drawn. So this is an issue that is really screaming for a ballot initiative. And to do that, we need to raise public awareness. The state of Iowa has made advances and actually now has moved to a system where they draw districts using a computer program that simply starts in the upper left-hand corner of the state and draws through an algorithm districts that balance population until they get to the southeast corner of the state.
So you're saying the only way this can be done in Missouri is with a ballot initiative?
Well, the Missouri State Legislature is not going to, in my view, endorse measures that decrease the job security of sitting politicians.
Right.
So this is something we need to be talking about as citizens, and I personally think a ballot initiative is the way to go.
So how does someone start a ballot initiative?
Well,
let's say you lit a spark under somebody out there. How do they start a ballot initiative?
Well, the way that all political organizations start. The first thing is we need to be talking about this issue, and we need to realize that even though it is a procedural issue as opposed to a substantive issue, that a lot of substance flows from getting this process right. And so at political organizations, Democratic clubs, Republican clubs, number one, we need to be elevating the discussion and put this issue on the agenda in the discussions that we have. And then when the time is right, we need to get groups who are willing to contribute some of their time and some of their resources to pulling an initiative petition together. And I'd be delighted to be a part of it.
Okay. If people would want, we're about out of time, but is there one place they can go on the internet to find out more information about any of this?
On the internet, I'm not so sure. There's a very compelling book, I think, called The Great Sort, The Big Sort,
Okay.
and it writes about how these districts are drawn these days and how demographics have changed in a way that promotes this kind of
The
system.
book is?
The Big Sort.
The Big Source, and you can find it at the library.
Yep.
All right. John Wright, thank you so much for coming by. Please, will you come back again?
I would love to.
All
Thanks
right,
so much,
all right.
Paul.
We'll get your book before you leave here. We're out of time for today. Tomorrow, Mel Zelenik will be with us. Have yourself a good morning and an afternoon.